one moment, it could be used as a deterring statement. Psychologists will defend this. Okay, and this is my point: is that there was beyond a reason. It was not beyond a reasonable doubt that he absolutely, in his mind, the seconds as he stabbed Austin Mecca, that he stabbed him because he wanted him to die versus him defending himself.
Hold on, man.
Is gymnastics
national, like, disrespect Beamer Day or something, man? Like, I don't like what I've been seeing on this stage, man. How y'all been coming at Beamer, man? It's starting to make me mad for real. You know what I mean? So, y'all don't get y'all shit together, man. I'm finna start smoking y'all, man. No cap.
You can't talk truth, bro, Timothy. We
can, but all the interrupting shit and calling her out her name, XYZ, man, I can't go for it no more. So I'm finna start smoking y'all, bro. This your last warning.
Well, I think it's just crazy, bro. Like, I'm just saying, man, the things that she's talking about, it sounds like mental gymnastics to me. I mean, this thing's been litigated already. The kid's guilty, and now there's even more evidence that, brings up that, he had some bad intentions. I don't even know why we're going through this again. So she is because there's a lot more saying, Jay. Hold on, just give me a second, brother. Come on, I haven't got to talk for a while.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to talk for a minute, bro.
That there's a level, a quality of conversation that we're trying to maintain. I don't need any of you.
Quality of conversation maintenance, Jack.
I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with you absolutely hating my guts. One second. Just hold on. Okay. I'm perfectly okay with you hating me. I'm perfectly okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm perfectly okay with you thinking whatever you want to think about me. But one thing is that if we're talking and we're discussing a topic to try to insult, and you're demeaning and you're just dissolving the entire level of the quality of the conversation. Don't worry about who I am or what I am or what I believe. Just if I say something that you disagree with, if you have an argument, address the argument and respond. I don't think that anybody, and this is another thing, I know that sometimes we talk to each other and you guys hear people attacking each other, but that's nothing that I really would want. And I don't want. We want civil debate. We want to have conversations. We want people to feel safe to also express their opinions. And when you have people who constantly attack people, insult people, dehumanize, it's a bullying behavior to try to get them to not speak up. And then they feel like they're too afraid to express their ideas, and then we all lose. Okay, so I'm just asking everybody, it's okay to hate me, and we want the disagreement, but please just stay on topic.
I want to back what Beam is saying. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm just going to ask Beam, why haven't you voted in the poll? Please vote. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, yeah, definitely vote. We want this, not just to be, a safe space. We're not doing that. But what we are doing is everybody gets to express their opinion and let it get it all out. Whatever that shit is, doesn't really matter, okay? So, if they want to just let their submission be what it is, you leave it as what it is. You don't go personally, don't get all nasty. Just leave. We don't like it. And I agree with Bima. Let's let it go.
I agree with it too. And just know, Bima, for every hater,
you guys have a cue?
You've got so much more. I think it's just popcorn now. For every hater, you've got so much more people who like and respect you, especially being, kind of a minority voice in this kind of conversation. This is the thing. First and foremost, how is this shit justice? Because Mountain was saying, well, why are we even talking about this? We're talking about this because this guy was Carmelo was clearly railroaded. This is clearly unjust. You're entitled to a jury of your peers. How the fuck is it your peers when there is a young black guy that's on trial, a high schooler that's on trial, and well, Beaver, I'm saying I'm going to tell you why. He's on trial in an altercation because before it was a stabbing, it was an altercation with a white guy who had expressed racist rhetoric before. Like, he was a racist. So clearly there is a racial element to this case. And therefore, how on earth is it just a jury of your peers when there is no black person? We know, like, statistically, that their implicit bias is real. That's why representation is important, because when you just have, one demographic, and there's already so much, tension, really just in this country and in that state, and in the context of the details of this case, with there being a black boy and a white boy, and the white boy was killed. So literally, the white boy was killed, and you're gonna put a majority. Okay, you can say what? There were some couple Latinos. I don't give a fuck, because a lot of times, shout out to my Latinos and stuff, but a lot of y'all be racist too, and everybody will tell you. They will tell you that. Okay, so I'm not. I think it's a complete.
Shay, have you served on a jury? Have you ever been in a pool for a
Yes,
jury?
I have. Yes, I have.
When you went through the pool of the jury, how many people were in the jury pool when you sat your first pool?
I don't remember. It's a long time ago.
Okay, well, average. What do you think is a jury pool when they pull when you come in the morning and it's your day of jury duty? How many do you think average come in?
There were a lot.
Ballpark. What do you think?
I think it was like 60.
Okay, say 50, 60 people come in the jury pool, and then people use their excuses why they don't want to be there. And then they do the voir dire, right? They start asking the questions. So what do you remember being asked when you're sitting there in that pool of 50 people? Do you remember the questions?
I don't remember. I really don't. This is a long time ago. I don't like juries.
Okay, but there's basic questions, regardless really what state you're in. They're going to ask often the same questions, and people will have the excuses. Moms have obligations they try to get out because they have the young babies, or people have work obligations, and people have different excuses. Some have medical excuses, but then they narrow that pool down of the 50, 60 people, and people start getting dismissed. And then they ask if people have a problem being unbiased, and whether they have biases, or if they have relatives that are police officers, or they've been a victim of a crime, and if they could be unbiased in a case. So they weed out more people leave, right? So that initial pool after the voir dire and all the excuses, gets reduced down. So you think there's a possibility in that scenario, in that case, they also wanted to dismiss people that worked in education because they felt there could be a bias. And there were 3 black jurors that in the pool that, if I recall, and you can find, because there's articles about this, that felt that one felt she couldn't be unbiased, or she would have a bias. And I think the other 2 were teachers. Which then it's Texas, where there's a big Hispanic community, and there's an Indian from India. There's a big community from India in that part in Frisco, Texas. So there were several. There were people that were brown that were on the jury.
Houston has the largest Indian population.
So just go through, Jay, just go through a morning of being in a jury pool, and what I just broke it down to, and how many people are left to then choose from. And when you go through you then go through those questions.
And you only make up 11.8% of the population.
So does that seem like there was a bias to you, or that's how the jury pool started to weed out?
Houston has a huge Indian population. Houston has a huge black population.
This is Dallas. This was Dallas. This wasn't Houston. It was Dallas, and it wasn't Dallas. It was Frisco.
Highly, are you saying a huge black population or a Nigerian population? Because they have the highest. There's the high.
This was north
amount
of
of
Dallas,
Nigerians.
correct?
No reason.
The second largest population of Nigerians outside of Nigeria.
This county was north of Dallas. It was a county. It's a county north of Dallas. And you look at the population, but I just went through. Have you sat on a jury? Whoever I'm speaking to, have you gone through jury pool and watched this?
I have been through a jury 2 times.
Okay, so do you remember? Was it 50, 60 people black when you went to the pool in the morning? How many?
About 100 people.
And were you in a big city or a county? Where'd you do it? Were you in
Santa Clara County.
Okay,
yeah.
So then they start going through the people that have exemptions or have the excuses. And what did it whittle down to when you said
12 people.
Right, but when they went through voir dire, before they even got to the questions about biases or if you're related to a cop or if it's a civil trial, how you feel about insurance companies or if you've had an accident, all those questions. But before they get to that, people that have work excuses or family excuses or medical excuses. So that 100 people, that pool gets whittled down by the time they start choosing eligible for a particular trial. Do you remember that happening?
Yes.
So the county where this was in is what the town was Frisco, which is I don't know what the population, but it has a big population from India there and a Hispanic population, as well as whites and as well as blacks. So when they went through that pool, what was left in the